Family. It's good to see everybody here. I hope all of you are doing well. So, look like Donald Trump's executive order to remove uh, Black artifacts and civil rights memorabilia and things all out of the museum. So, it's happening. You know, Donald Trump is trying to work towards an all white history. He doesn't want any of our history up in these museums. He wants it all gone. It doesn't matter if they were a military hero or they made history from being the first Black soldiers, or they made history, from their inventions. He wants it gone. And I'm just here to tell you once again, because I've said this before, nobody is going to go to no all white museum. If you make all these museums all white, you won't even attract flies. Okay? Nobody's going to go because let's be real, y'all history ain't that damn interesting. In fact, it's boring. I remember when I was in history class, 90% of the time I was bored. Your history is boring. Nobody is going to jump in a car and drive to a museum and all they see is a sea of white people and no one else. You might as well just shut the museums down. Just close them all down. Okay? Just close them down because nobody's going to go. In fact, if it turns that way, y'all, check the traffic in the museum prior to them taking all the stuff down and after. And I promise you, it is not going to be the same. The people going there is going to plummet. So let's get to it. I have a video I want to show you. And then I'll come back with my commentary. Please give me a one if you could see my screen. Give me a one if you can see my screen. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Hold on here. Turn the sound on. Okay, let me. There's an issue here with the sound. Hold on one second. Turn the sound on. Try again. Okay. Why can't I get the sound on? Hmm. All right. Let me refresh. I don't know why it's not letting me turn the sound on. Why is it not letting me? It will not let me turn the sound on. I don't know if I know it's not me because I got sound. All right. I have no idea what's going on, y'all. I cannot get the sound on. Hold on one second. Yeah, I have no idea. It will not let me turn the sound on this thing. All right, let me stop sharing. It's okay. I mean, technically, I don't need that. I don't need it. All right, so let's just talk about this. Okay, so let me just go over the story. I can do that. All right, so artifacts were moved from the African American History Museum after executive order. Okay, so Donald Trump, is on that same crap we have heard from the white supremacists. Oh, we can't teach this history because it's going to hurt white kids and all that crap. No, this ain't about the kids. This is about the adults, y'all. Don't fall for that. It's the kids. It's never been the kids. This is all about the grown-ups that don't want this here. MAGA and the people that's been all up in Donald Trump's ear. Elon, too. Several artifacts are being removed from the National Museum of African American History and Culture, according to the owners of the artifacts. The removals come after the Trump administration issued an executive order to remove parts of history from the Smithsonian Museum in DC. So the owners of some historical objects inside the museum tells News 4 that their items are being wiped from the displays. Some visitors were shocked to see some artwork already gone, some displays already gone, saying they strategically plan their visit to be able to see most of the artifacts in case some were removed. Civil rights activist Amos Brown said he was recently notified of artifacts that he loaned to the museum were being returned back to him. He described one of the books written by Reverend George Washington Williams in 1880 as a precious, most historic book and the first history of the Negro race. The other book was a Bible he took to demonstrate. This is Dr. Martin Luther King's Bible, and there was also Jesse Jackson's Bible. Brown said he lent the artifacts to the Smithsonian in 2016. He said the museum always gave him the option of donating the books permanently or renewing the loan. But this time he was not even informed about that. It's downright disgusting and demeaning, Brown said. I hope people of goodwill, of conscience and common sense will rise up and said, we need to stop this. Jeff Anderson, a tourist from Louisiana, hoped to see the museum before any changes were made. It's a shame the fear of Black people finding out their history has caused this kind of thing, Anderson said. Others who visit the museum before the removals, they said when you start out in the museum, you already see changes, things removed. So I know certain exhibits that were missing. They said Nat Turner's Bible was one of the things missing. Woolworths in Greensboro, North Carolina, massacre. The table that was used was missing. And they said also there was a digital display there that was missing. All right. So the Smithsonian chief spokesperson released a statement in response to visitors seeing artifacts removed from exhibits. What's being done is trying to whitewash our history. You can't wash out African American experience because our experience is the American history. Well, that's not how Donald Trump and those racists that are telling him to do that are doing. And I'm sorry, I do believe these racists have been all up in Donald Trump's ear because we didn't see Donald Trump doing nothing like this in his first term. He wasn't doing things like this, but we certainly see it now. We see that Donald Trump is trying to erase history. And Donald Trump, the bottom line is it doesn't matter what you take out of that museum. We can tell our own history at the end of the day. We don't need no history from Donald Trump at all. So people are going there and saying they're already seeing empty displays. So y'all that afraid to show the history in its real form, whether it's good or bad. I mean, that's history. History is going to be that way. Some of the history is going to be good. Some of it is going to be bad. So it looks like to me you are attempting to run away from your sins. So that's what you're doing. You're trying to cover up your sins. And we're supposed to go along in life and act like none of this stuff from our past ever happened. Really? But you notice none of their history is being removed. You don't hear them removing anything in white history. Oh, no, all their stuff is valid. And we know a lot of your history is just made up lies. A lot of it is made up lies, but that's valid. Like I said, y'all, you go right ahead and whitewash all the museums. I promise you, nobody's going to go. Nobody's going to go. Hmm. Let them take it out. You know, at the end of the day, they're hurting their bag, and I don't care about that. Hmm. But you still got some of our people on their channels propping up Donald Trump. They see all of this, and they know what's wrong, but they're on this trip of trying to make Donald Trump look good at all cost. And the only thing it's doing is turning people off from even subscribing to your channel. But if you want to go down that lane, you go right ahead. You're going down that lane all by yourself. So y'all are that much in fear of our history. Y'all on some bullshit. But let them take it, y'all. Let them take it. Let them take anything down because, like I said, they're only destroying their own museum. And I remember in Donald Trump's first term, back then it was CRT. You notice they always change the letters. Every year they changed the letters. It was CRT back when he was in his first term that they were hooping and hollering about. Now you don't hear nothing about no CRT. That's how you know what they're jumping up and hollering about is a bunch of BS. That's all it is. Mm-hmm. So he said back in, I believe it was like maybe like 2018, 2019, Donald Trump said, why can't the kids learn a patriotic history? I said, so in other words, you want some fake mess told to the, it's not okay to teach them what really happened on American soil, but it's okay to teach them some fake shit. Okay. So it's okay to do that. Patriotic history. So that's just another way of saying white history. I know what you were saying, Donald Trump. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And you know these black YouTubers that are in love with Donald Trump. You notice something else about them. You notice how none of them are no longer talking about reparations. How come you're not demanding reparations from Donald Trump? Oh, my bad. Because according to you, Donald Trump did so much for us, right? So you don't want to rock the boat there. So you won't talk about reparations anymore. I noticed that too. All of these alleged black people in Donald Trump's corner, they were on reparations when Joe Biden was in there. But now that Donald Trump is gone, you see how silent those same channels are about reparations? They don't have nothing to say about that. Oh no, Gloria, nobody should go out in the streets protesting some artifacts. Just let it go. No. I can see going out there for somebody's life being lost, like we always went out there. But for some artifacts, no, definitely don't go out for that reason. Hmm. You know, Elon Musk slick ass, when he was in there, he said they need to take this whole museum down and sell it. He said, shut it all down and then sell it. And look at what happened to Elon. The whole world is boycotting him now. The entire world is boycotting Elon. Yeah, see, you know what, Elon, that would be good history to teach how Elon Musk, the richest man on earth, jacked up his whole business, all of his businesses, when he came to Washington to head Doge. Now, see, that's good history to learn. I'm for that history. I'm for that history. Well, yeah. I mean, if they want their little shitty ass museums, let them have them. You know, let them have them, and you ain't got to step foot in these museums once they wipe out the Black history in there. You don't have to go to none of their museums. You can learn all the history you need to learn online, and that's the truth. Yeah, we need reparations. Damn right. That conversation should never go away because Donald Trump is in office. How you doing, Tareen? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we don't need their stuff. Nothing they got is a necessity. As far as their history, nothing in their history is a necessity. Okay. It ain't gonna make or break your life whether you hear about it or not. I can tell you, I went through the public school system, and I can tell you firsthand, none of their history ever benefited me. None of their history never made my life better. It didn't make me richer. Okay. It didn't make me have more. It did absolutely nothing for me. And when it's all said and done, when they get finished trying to teach this BS history, it ain't going to make a difference in nobody else's life. That's the problem. Your history don't make a difference in anybody's life. So have at it. Put it all up. Make it all about you. Go right ahead. So, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and conclude. Thank you so much for being here. I deeply appreciate our time together, and we'll definitely come back and do this again on a different day. Shalom, family.